What's up, guys? Today we are making a video on the difference between nitro and electric RC cars. Right away, I want to point out that I'm not comparing these two cars specifically. I'm simply comparing the power plants. These two cars are very different. They're both made by different manufacturers. This one's four-wheel drive, this one's two-wheel drive. The only similarities they have is they're around the same price range of around $330, and they both have around the same top speed of 50 miles an hour. This is a Traxxas Nitro Rustler, and as the name says, it is nitro. This is an Arma Granite 4x4 3S BLX. This is actually the version 3. They've come out with a few different ones since then, and it does have upgraded wheels and tires, but this is an electric RC car. Now with the bodies off, you can really see the difference. Starting over here with the Arma Granite, you see it has an electric motor with a speed controller, and that is how this thing is powered. All you have to do to get it running is charge up a 3S LiPo battery, put it in, and you're ready to go. Now this is a nitro RC car. This is a bit different. This is powered by a nitro engine and runs on a fuel that many people refer to as nitro fuel, though it's actually supposed to be called glow fuel. The fuel that I personally use is this Sidewinder Race Blend Fuel 20% nitromethane. Just so you know, the oil content in this is 12%. Another thing that should be mentioned is nitro fuel is not cheap. As you can see, it says right here, $15.39 for just this quart of nitro fuel. Now, at least in this car, that does last a good amount of tanks, but still, that should be noted. With this car being powered by a real engine, it does make a lot of noise. That noise can be both really cool and exciting and annoying to other people. That's why I generally recommend, if you have the option, to only run nitros in an area where you're not going to disturb a lot of other people. Though, to be honest, it's not that loud, and if you live in a neighborhood, it's probably not going to be that big of a problem. Another big difference from electric is that you can tune nitro engines. Under this air filter is what is known as the carburetor. This is a tuning needle. You can adjust the fuel mixture by making it more lean or more rich to affect your performance. Running your engine more lean means that less fuel is going into the engine and more air is going in. This usually means higher performance. It also comes with the danger of higher heat. Running your engine more rich means that it is getting more fuel, and this usually means slightly more sluggish performance at more acceptable temperatures. Your goal when tuning is to find the sweet spot where it has good performance and good temps. I would recommend purchasing a small temp gun like this one off Amazon for usually around $15 to $20. Another thing that should be noted is there's something known as a break-in procedure. When you first purchase a nitro RC car, you need to do a break-in procedure. Every RC car will have its own set of instructions. They're usually pretty good, but they usually are something like basically driving the car at various RPMs. So, for example, driving at quarter throttle, then braking for one tank. And they're usually about like 5 to 6 tanks. But overall, it's just really important to read the manual specifically on nitro RC cars. Break-in procedures are really important. They're not an optional thing. They basically ensure reliability with your engine, and you have to do them when you first get a nitro RC car. Another thing about break-in procedures is that it's not totally uncommon to have issues during them, specifically fouled glow plugs. So basically when the glow plug in the engine just goes bad, at least with Traxxas nitros, they come with a replacement glow plug in the box. I don't know about it for other nitros. Another thing to remember is routine maintenance. You want to probably wash the air filter after about every hour of runtime with soapy water, and then re-oil it with air filter oil specifically. You also want to do something called purging the engine after every time you stop running it. So not after every single tank, but say You run like 3 tanks through it in a day and you take it back. Basically, all you do is you take this glow plug out, you take the air filter off, and if it were a pull start, you just kind of spray some WD-40 or something down in there, and then pull the pull starter with a cloth over the top of the engine. On this, with the Easy Start, you do a similar thing, except you just stick the Easy Start on the back, so it just spins this engine. The reason you need to purge the engine is because the methanol in the fuel attracts moisture and can cause rust. And also when you're spraying after-run oil like WD-40 in, it helps lubricate the engine. Another recommendation I have with nitros is to replace like the AA battery holder with a rechargeable like nickel metal hydride battery. Traxxas in this case sells them. They also sell this wiring harness so you can still have an on-off switch. Thing is it's not long enough to go to where the original on-off switch was over here. So I just hot glued it down here and it works fine. A more minor thing to note about nitros is just that reading the manual is really important. It's not as much of a deal on electric vehicles, but on nitros, reading it can be really important. It includes some important diagrams on how to tune, how to clean it. For example, here it's explaining how temperature can affect tuning, but overall, it's just really important to read the manual specifically on nitro RC cars. Also, if you're wondering why there's a hole cut in the windshield, and this is something you may see on a lot of nitro RC cars, it's just to get better cooling for the engine as the temperatures can reach really high. The final thing I'm going to mention about this car is the different mechanisms that can be used for starting a nitro engine. Traxxas uses this. They call it the Easy Start. All it is a little wand like this with a battery in it that you can recharge with a charger. All you do is you put it on here like this, press the button, and it lights the glow plug and spins the engine. This starting mechanism is specific to Traxxas nitros. There are a variety of other starting systems. A lot of nitros will have a pull start, so kind of like what you would have on like a lawnmower. You just pull it to spin the engine and start it, and then you would have a separate glow starter that you put on the glow plug. Also, some nitros, generally racing nitros from my experience, have what's called a starter box. That's a little more uncommon, and to be honest, I don't know much about them. With all these negatives I've said about nitro, you may be wondering, why would anyone want to own one? And well, it really just comes down to like the sound, the smell, the exhaust. It makes it seem so fast, and it's just cool to have a real engine in there. And at least for me, I really enjoy working on RC cars and being able to tune the engine and get everything right. I just love the feeling. It is definitely not for everyone, but for me, I just really like it. I will say, if you have a lot of experience in RC and have lots of RC cars and you don't have a nitro, just pick one up, especially if buying one isn't a huge purchase. Just pick one up, like this for example. I consider the Traxxas Nitro Rustler to be one of the best beginner nitros you can purchase. And if you don't like it, you can just sell it and lose some money, but not lose everything. Now we're gonna talk about starting the cars. This is all you're gonna need to start an electric RC car. You have your battery over here and your remote. Most hobby grade electric RC cars will not come with a battery or charger, so you will have to purchase them. In this case, I really like the company Venom for my batteries. I find their batteries to be very good. All you need to do is take off this body and take your battery and put it in. In this case, my battery doesn't actually fit in this car like it's supposed to. It's a little too long, but you're gonna put it in there. Once you have it all strapped up, you're simply gonna take this connector and connect it to the battery. An important thing to remember is that not all batteries and speed controllers come with the same connectors. So you may need to purchase an adapter like this one to properly attach your battery. In this case, my battery and speed controller have the same connector. Once you have your battery in place, it's important that you turn on the transmitter before you turn on the car. So I'm simply going to press this button. This red light means that it's on. All I'm going to do is flick this switch and turn the car on. All you're hearing there is the fans on the motor and speed controller. Once you've secured the body clips to the body mount, you're ready to go. And just like that, you're up and running. Now, for starting a nitro engine, I actually don't have the best example here. I can show you how to start a Traxxas nitro engine specifically, but because there's a different way of starting different nitro engines, I'm not going to be able to show you how to start it the other ways. I will say when what I'm doing is something specific to Traxxas nitros though. This is everything you're going to need to start a nitro engine. On this side is stuff you'll need for every nitro engine, and this is specific to Traxxas nitros. Easy start. There's a nickel metal hydride in there. It comes with a charger. The charger has a very weird connection. You cannot plug it into wall unless you buy a power supply either from Traxxas or online, making sure it's correct voltage and everything. But you put that in here. I would charge it up every single time I run this, just because the way nickel metal hydrides work, it's not consistent full power until the end. They begin to lose their power after the very first usage. So I would charge that up every single time I use this. That's basically all you're gonna have to do for that until you start it. Starting off with the fuel, you're gonna need your quart of fuel that you would buy from your local hobby shop or online. You're going to need this bottle, which, for example, if you were like taking your car to a specific location, you would fill this up with nitro probably before you leave, and that's what you would take with you. And this is actually optional. It's a funnel. Traxxas at least suggests that you squeeze the bottle so you can like suck the nitro out of this. But I found that when the bottle gets low on nitro, that can be hard to do. So I prefer to just use a funnel. You take the top off of here and then pull out this little plug, and then you screw this off. So once you've taken that off, you're gonna take your funnel, in this case, put it in, and then very carefully and very slowly pour the nitro into the funnel. Once you carefully screw the lid back on your fuel bottle, you're ready with your fuel. Now taking off the body, you see the fuel tank. All you're gonna do to fuel it up is take the top off of this. I had to move over here because this is a two-hand job, but you're just gonna flip the fuel tank up and squeeze it out until it reaches the top. There it is. Now, first step before you start a nitro engine, always make sure you turn on the controller. This is even more important than on electrics. And then turn on the car wherever the on-off switch is and put on the body. Okay, now we're gonna start it on. Just put this on the back. You have to purge it by putting your finger over the exhaust port. May take a second to heat up, so that's not uncommon to see it die in situations like that. Third time's a charm. Oh yeah, we're going. I hope this video helped you make a decision on whether to purchase a nitro or electric RC car. My personal opinion is if you're new to RC, pick up an electric. But if you know what you're doing, a nitro is a great option.